Did you hear that Amazon is leaving the US? That's the rumor, but is it true? Trump's furious, billion-dollar market drops, panic-filled headlines. But what's really behind all this? You were probably bombarded this week with shocking headlines. Amazon abandons the US. Trump goes crazy over the tech giant's departure. A $13 billion crisis hits the American supply chain. The internet exploded, and the question that won't go away is Amazon really leaving the United States because of Donald Trump's tariffs? And what does this mean for the global economy? Here on Mind Voltios, we're diving deep into this story. We'll separate clickbait from facts, uncover the real war between Donald Trump and Jeff Bezos, and reveal how this clash, far beyond the headlines, is shaping the future of the US market. Get ready for the truth behind the so-called perfect storm. But first, think about this. When a global giant moves, does the Earth really shake or just look like it does? The sensationalist narrative, what you saw online. Over the last few days, videos like Trump cornered as Amazon exits US and Amazon replied to Trump's tariffs by leaving America, Trump completely loses it, have flooded social media feeds. They paint an apocalyptic picture. Amazon, the retail giant, supposedly forced to abandon US soil, taking billions of dollars and thousands of jobs with it, all because of Trump's trade policies. The narrative is simple. Trump's tariffs, meant to protect American industries, backfired and drove away one of its biggest corporations. But is this dramatic, rage-filled story actually what's happening? Sensationalist videos are like fire. They flare up fast, but burn the truth along the way. They create panic, fuel algorithms, and distract from the facts. That's why MindVault exists, to cut through the noise and bring clarity. So, in this case, let's look at the evidence, the HQ locations, the actual actions. No hysteria, just reality. And what if all this smoke is just part of a much bigger distraction? Hold that thought. The truth. Amazon did not leave the US. Let's be clear, Amazon did not leave the United States. Its global headquarters remains firmly rooted in Seattle, Washington, with a second HQ expanding in Arlington, Virginia. Claims that the company abandoned the country or relocated its global HQ are, frankly, false. In fact, Amazon continues to be one of the largest employers and investors in the US, with hundreds of thousands of employees and billions poured into distribution centers, innovation, and logistics. Its footprint in the American market is stronger than ever, so if Amazon didn't leave, where's all this smoke coming from? Headquarters, investments, jobs, all still in the US. In reality, Amazon is expanding. More trucks, more warehouses, more servers. The exit theory is built on distorted speculation, driven by political and media agendas. So how did those distortions take root? The answer lies in one word: ego. And what if this wasn't about supply chains, but about something personal? Let's go back to the start. The root of the clash. Bezos, Trump, and the Washington Post. To understand the real war between Trump and Bezos, we have to rewind to around 2015, when Donald Trump was still a presidential candidate. Jeff Bezos, owner of the influential Washington Post, saw his paper become a vocal critic of Trump's campaign, and Trump, sharp-tongued as ever, quickly struck back. He accused Bezos of using the Post as a political tool to dodge taxes for Amazon, calling the paper fake news and a lobbyist for Amazon. That's when the tension exploded. Trump frequently attacked Amazon for supposedly avoiding taxes, holding a monopoly in online retail, and exploiting the US Postal Service. These claims, often with little evidence, still resonated with certain segments of the public, feeding the image of Amazon as a corporate villain. This wasn't just a narrative battle, it was a symbolic turf war. Trump dominated social media. Bezos controlled one of the world's top newspapers. The stage was set for a clash where every tweet or headline was a shot fired. When ego enters the room, facts get pushed aside, and soon the clash spilled into actual policy decisions. But what happens when the feud affects billion-dollar government deals? Let's find out. The Tariff War. How Amazon really felt the impact. Now let's get to the heart of what the viral videos twisted. Tariffs. Trump's trade war, especially with China, was a defining part of his presidency. The goal: protect US industries. But the outcome? Far more complicated. Companies like Amazon, relying on a global supply chain to deliver products efficiently, were directly impacted. Tariffs raised import costs, and Amazon had to either absorb those costs or pass them on to you. This raised operational challenges across the board. Even though Amazon didn't leave the US, the trade war created a more uncertain, more expensive business environment. Quick break. If you find this breakdown valuable, drop a like now. It tells YouTube that facts still matter. Tariffs might seem distant, but they're behind your shopping cart total. Every imported item, every delayed delivery, every price hike. They all trace back to political decisions. And when a company like Amazon has to rebuild its logistics strategy, the ripple effect hits your doorstep. So what happens when political spite becomes actual federal interference? Let's keep going. The Jedi Contract, when politics meets business. One of the most symbolic moments in this rivalry was the fight over the Jedi Contract, joint enterprise defense infrastructure from the US Department of Defense. In 2019, Amazon Web Services was seen as the frontrunner for this $10 billion cloud computing deal, but the contract went to Microsoft instead. Amazon sued the Pentagon, accusing Trump of personally interfering with the bidding process due to his ongoing feud with Jeff Bezos. This wasn't just a theory, it became a federal case. The Jedi decision gave this feud an official zip code. This was no longer just tweets versus headlines. It was legal action over national defense infrastructure. The power struggle became institutional, affecting real-world strategy and billions in federal contracts. You're starting to see this wasn't symbolic, it was systemic. The rhetoric and public perception. Trump's communication style, especially on Twitter, amplified this conflict to extreme levels. His constant jabs at Bezos and Amazon fueled a narrative of us versus them that played well with his base and dominated headlines. Public perception of Amazon shifted. Bezos, often silent publicly, let legal actions and business strategies speak louder than tweets. Still, this public brawl reshaped how Americans saw big tech and political influence. Narratives shape reality, especially when shared by millions. And the real question became, which is more dangerous, a company challenging the government or a government targeting a company? But wait, where does that leave the everyday consumer? Right in the crossfire. Real consequences for the market and consumers. So what was the real impact on the US market and, more importantly, on you, the consumer? Tariffs raised costs on imported products, costs that often get passed along to you. The trade war caused uncertainty, forcing companies to rethink investments and slowing parts of the economy. And when governments and corporations clash at that scale, the effects go far beyond balance sheets. The real question isn't who won, but who paid. Spoiler, it's us. Higher prices, less product availability, slower delivery, all traced back to ego-driven decisions. And it's not just economic, it's about trust in leadership and institutions. So what can we learn from this perfect storm? Let's wrap it up. The perfect storm. between Trump and Bezos wasn't really about Amazon leaving the US. It was about powerful personalities clashing, trade policies hitting hard, and a fight to control public narrative in a hyper-connected world. The truth is always more complex than the headlines. At MindVault, we believe complexity isn't something to avoid. It's what makes stories worth telling. And understanding conflicts through data and evidence is how we stay grounded in a world of noise. What's your take on the Trump versus Amazon conflict? Did tariffs really hurt the US economy? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to MindVault US, like the video, and hit the bell so you never miss our next deep dive. And in the next episode of the Perfect Storm series, another tech giant steps into the line of fire. Don't miss it.